Hey everyone, welcome back to Tiny Kitchen Big Flavors. Tonight we're gonna make a Cajun blackened fish. My clients JB and Jess love to fish, and so they caught this beautiful freshwater bass in the last tournament they were in. So we're gonna season it up and cook it on the cast iron skillet. We're gonna pair it tonight with a rice almondine and a nice crispy salad. So let's get started. We're going to start out by making our seasoning mix that we're going to season the fish with, and for that I'm going to use some Tony's Creole seasoning as my base, together with just a pinch of salt because that Tony's has a lot of salt in it, pepper, paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of cayenne pepper. I'm going to get that mixed up and I'll show it to you. Here are all those seasonings mixed together, and I'm just going to give this a toss and mix them all up. I think I want a little bit more of the paprika in there because that is going to give that the beautiful caramelization color that I want on there. There we go. And we're going to set this aside for a second and we're going to work on our rice. Now, I decided that I wanted to go with a combination of like a rice pilaf / rice almondine, and I didn't have any orzo, but I always say that cooking is less about just following a strict recipe and more about just a method. And so I did have some pasta, some spaghetti, so I just cut that up into small little like 1-inch pieces, and that's what we're going to use for the pilaf part of that. I have about 3/4 cup of rice because I'm only cooking for 3 of us, my 2 clients and myself. Some slivered almonds, some onion, better than bouillon chicken, and some chicken stock. Let's start by thinly dicing some onion. Okay. I don't need this whole chunk of onion, so probably that much. And I just want this to be little tiny dice. We're going to start out by melting some butter, about a tablespoon of butter. And get our onions in there. Get our onions going. Next, I'm going to go in with my pasta and my rice. And slivered almonds. And there's not much left in there, so I think I'll just use up the whole bag. There we go. So now what we want to do is get the rice, the pasta, and the almonds toasted up nice. Get everything well incorporated with the butter that's in there, and then just kind of let it sit for a minute, and it won't take long before it starts browning up. Okay, see how this is getting a nice beautiful brown color to it? The pasta is nicely browned, and the rice is, and the nuts are all toasty. I think this looks good. Next, we're going to add about a teaspoon of that better than bouillon chicken flavor. Get that incorporated. For rice, you're going to always have a 2-to-1 ratio, so we use 3/4 cup of rice. So we're going to use 1.5 cups, which is twice as much of the chicken stock going in here. There's 1.5 cups. I think I've had this measuring cup since my Easy Bake Oven days. That's it's perfect for the RV. Okay, I've slid that back to the back burner, and I'm going to bring that to a boil. Something else that you can do also, if you want to add more almond flavor to your rice almondine, is to add either some almond extract or even an amaretto if you cook with alcohol. That's delicious too. So we're going to let this come to a rolling boil and then cover it up and reduce it down to simmer. Okay, I'm gonna work on my salad next because the fish is gonna go really fast once we start cooking it. So I wanna have everything else ready. I'm gonna start with some, what have I got here? Romaine lettuce hearts. Start by rinsing those off, giving them a quick rinse. Dry them off. And then I'm gonna just add whatever I have in the refrigerator, which are some baby carrots, maybe a couple of sliced mushrooms, some tomatoes, and maybe a few leftover bell peppers I have from the other night's dinner. You notice that I have all of my veggies in this one container here. I think I've mentioned before, I don't like to keep the lid on these things because the carrots, have you ever pulled out the carrots and they're slimy? And the same thing with the mushrooms. Take the lid off and let them just be exposed to the dry air in the refrigerator, and they'll just do fine in here for a week or more. All right, now on to the star of our show, this beautiful freshwater bass fillets here. We need to start by making sure that they're nice and dry. So we're gonna give these a nice pat down here with our paper towel. Make sure those are nice and dry so our coating is gonna stick on there, our seasoning mix that we made up. And that looks really good. So I added some roasted garlic chipotle seasoning to this because first of all, I didn't think that I would have enough because there's more fish here than I realized there was. So I wanted to make sure that I had enough seasoning before I started. I don't want to have to remix a whole batch of seasoning. So, and I thought, oh, that sounds like that would be delicious in there too. So hopefully that's enough there. And let's make some room. All right, so you really want to get this seasoning on the fish here. You really want to pat it in there and make sure that that is nice and good and coated. And then give it a little shake. Oh yeah, that's gonna be delicious. I'm gonna get these all coated and I'll be right back. All right, and look at that, we had just exactly enough, and oh, how beautiful. Okay, these are gonna be so delicious. One of the keys to a blackened fish is to get some brown butter going. So we want to, I've got about maybe a tablespoon and a half of butter in here, three pats of butter. And I'm gonna get these melted up and start browning a little bit. All right, the butter's melted. It's starting to brown. It's sizzling. I think my pan is nice and hot. I'm gonna go for it. All right, it might, could have been a little bit hotter. I'm not hearing really the sizzle that I'd like to hear, but this should be good. I'm gonna just do these in batches, I think 3 at a time. I don't want to overcrowd my pan because I want them to get nicely blackened and not steam. Too many in the pan will make them steam. So I'm just gonna leave these alone. My tiny kitchen is a little bit off level right now, so make sure that that butter stays even all over the pan. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes. Let's give these a flip. How do they look? Oh, beautiful. Oh gosh, they look great. Okay, I think I want to add some more butter to this pan because, you know, more butter is better, right? All right, and let these go. Now again, I think these first ones are ready to come off. And we'll get our next batch on. And, oh, look at how beautiful. All right. All right, I went down with my last 2 pieces of fish, and I just have to taste this. Oh, it's beautiful. It's flaky and tender. Okay, and the last thing I'm gonna do is just hit these with a little bit of fresh squeezed lime, just for a little brightness, and to cut through some of that heaviness. There we go. This lime does not want to give up its juice. What you can do sometimes is put your limes in the microwave. That'll loosen them up a little bit. All right, we're gonna get this boxed up and sent over to JB and Jess. Okay, I can't just waste all this beautiful Cajun flavor in the bottom of this pan, so we're just gonna pour that right over the top. Okay, let's fluff up this rice. And get it in the pan here. And there we go. Blackened Cajun freshwater bass, some rice almondine, and a beautiful crispy garden salad. I think that is a wonderful dinner tonight. I think they're gonna love it. And well, that was fun. I'm gonna go deliver this while it's still hot and then come back and eat mine. And I will see you next time in my tiny kitchen. See ya.